Conversational Past, Part 2. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff on this board. Don't let it discourage you. It's just meant to make it a little bit easier. So we know that we will be using haben plus a past participle to form the past tense, the conversational past. The thing is, sometimes we don't know whether or not the verb is going to be regular or irregular. I want to refer something to English first. Regular English past tense has an ed ending. Dance becomes danced. Work becomes worked. Play becomes played. In German, this past tense ending is going to be a T on the end of your participle. So if you will remember at the beginning of the year, I had said that D and T from German and English are sometimes switched. Now that goes back to the Zweite Deutsche Lautverschiebung that happened, the second High German consonant shift. It happened back in the 500s and 700s. So anyway, long ago, German and English used to be the same. So German has that regular ending as a T, and we have ed in English. So keep that in the back of your mind. But what I've noticed after looking at these for many, many years is there's a 90% rule. Now, you're not going to find this in any textbook. This is something that I've just noticed over time. 90% of the time, this will work. If a verb in English has an irregular past tense form, there's a 90% chance that it will also be irregular in German. Conversely, it also works if a verb in English has a regular past tense, in other words, ed at the end. There is a 90% chance that it will also be regular in German, taking that T ending. Now, will this work 100% of the time? No, there's about 10% of the time that this won't work, but 90% is enough to get an A. So if you follow this rule, you'll just have maybe 10% of the verbs that you really have to study a lot on to understand whether they're regular or irregular. Now, I've got down here just a few sample verbs in German to kind of show you how this works. And we're going to be figuring out whether or not they're regular or irregular based on what we know with this rule. Okay, so wohnen, we know that means to live. So we're going to be thinking in English, live. Is the past tense regular or irregular? So live, lived. Well, we're adding that D, that's regular. So there's a 90% chance that this will also be regular in German. And it is. We end up with G. We always have our G in front. Wohn. T. We put that T at the end. Gewohnt. Gewohnt. So that is regular. Okay, number 2, fahren, to drive. So let's think what it does in English. Drive. We would not say drived. I have drived to town. That's wrong. So that tells us right there, this is irregular in English. There's a 90% chance that it will also be irregular in German. And so we get gefahren, which does not have the T at the end. Now, most of the German irregular verbs, they end up with an en at the end. That's a little bit more regular than English. But gefahren. So yeah, this one is irregular. So let me put an R for regular here, an I for irregular. But you see that they matched up. They did exactly what they did in English. Essen, to eat. We wouldn't say I eated. So it is not regular. It does not have an ed at the end. It goes to ate or eaten. Let's stick with eaten. That's more of the participle we're looking for, eaten. Eaten. So in German, it will end up being gegessen. We do not have that regular T at the end. It is irregular. And you may be wondering, well, why did this random G pop up? Probably what happened over the years is Germans didn't want to say geessen. They wanted a vowel in between there. That's just my guess. In any case, it is irregular, and using the 90% rule, we can see that it is irregular. Okay, singen, to sing. In English, I wouldn't say I singed. That would be wrong. We would not put the ed there. I have sung. So this one is irregular. There's a 90% chance it'll be irregular in German, and it is. It changes to gesungen. So we still have our g, we have our en for irregular, and you may notice that it went from zingen to zungen, just like it did in English. So we can see some similarities here between English and German, how it may have separated years ago. Okay, fragen. Fragen is to ask. So let's see what it does in English. Ask, asked. It is regular. We know this one will also be regular in German. Well, there's a 90% chance it will be. And it goes to gefragt. It gets that regular ending there that we have in English ed, becomes a T in German. Laufen, our last one, to run. In English, we would not say I runned or I have runned. I have run. So yeah, that's irregular. It does not add the ed. So in German, there's a 90% chance it will be irregular, which it is. And we get gelaufen. Now, you may be wondering, some of those irregulars, they don't always just have the verb in en. That's because they're irregular. What this rule will do is basically tell you whether or not you can probably find out if it's irregular or not. There are some patterns to the irregulars. I'll go over those in another video. That's it for now. Tschüss.